Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Hector Navarro with an A, and this is a breakdown of The Mandalorian Season 3 final trailer footage. Plus, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about all your favorite characters going into the new season, which is coming out at midnight this Tuesday night, or 3 a.m. if you're on the East Coast. Eric and Tommy asked me to recap everything ahead of the season, and as a fellow Star Wars nerd, I'm honored to oblige. Yep, Mando's third season is debuting on Disney Plus on March 1st with Chapter 17 written by Jon Favreau. And before we dive in, just want to remind you that if you'd like to support New Rockstars, you can by checking out one of the great merch options at nerdriot.shop, including some Mando-inspired designs. Yep, you can show your support and look damn good while doing it. What a deal! So let's get into it by looking at the Ready promo, released February 13th. Now, all of these last-minute promos are showing us stuff we've seen before, but there are some noteworthy new shots we can take a closer look at. First up, we see Mando chilling by a tree on Navarro with an E, the best Star Wars planet. This looks like the same tree we saw the Kowakian monkey lizard hanging out in past trailers, so look out, Mando! The Kowakian monkey lizard over there. Then, in a shot I think we saw in the initial Season 3 trailer, Greef Karga is walking across the town square to meet Mando, and here's missable detail number 1, a little guy following Greef Karga right behind him on the right. Now, it goes by in less than a blink of an eye, but knowing what we know about this town on Navarro and what other aliens we've seen in the previous trailer, this could be an Anzellan, the same alien species that Babu Frick from The Rise of Skywalker belongs to. Maybe the Anzellans we've seen in the trailer footage so far are all working for Karga on Navarro. Another example of Greef's stellar leadership capabilities, being able to bring all types of sentient species across the galaxy together, working to make a better future. Until the rise of the First Order, that is. We don't know a lot about Anzellans other than their natural scene stealer, so watch out, Carl Weathers. What we do know is that the diminutive species has been a part of the galaxy for at least as far back as the High Republic era, as one Anzellan was working on a solar array station right before the Great Hyperspace Disaster, and another, named Shug Drabor, even designed the extremely expensive hotel in Orlando, the Halcyon Star Cruiser. Anzellans are usually helpful with jobs involving tech because their eyes can see microscopic details. Maybe Greef Karga is employing them for good reasons. They can see details other species can't. And also to make sure Greef's luxurious cape isn't collecting too much dust. What are you doing back there, little guy? What are you doing? In the previous trailer, when the Anzellans react to the scuffle going down outside, it looked like they may be tinkering with an IG series droid. Maybe they've been tasked with bringing IG-11 back online. And bringing back Taika Waititi to voice him? Let's do it. In another new shot, we can see just a metric ton of Mandalorians, including Paz Viszla, front and center, forming up for an attack. And if you thought the Magnificent Seven we saw in the first trailer was a lot of Mandalorians, we counted no less than 21 Mandos backing up Viszla as he fires away on his heavy blaster cannon. In another detail, we noticed that, like before, the Mandos assembling for this season are a diverse bunch of all different kinds of colors and designs, but now we can also add shapes and sizes to that list of differences because we think we may even see Mandalorian children, possibly foundings like Djarin was himself as a child, running back behind Paz Viszla to get cover or possibly form up for a more strategic attack. These are Mandalorian kids after all, probably skilled in the art of kicking asses. The last we saw of Paz Viszla, he was losing a battle for the Darksaber against Din Djarin on the underside of a space station. Also, we can't help but wonder if we'll see the Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau make a physical cameo appearance this season, as he's voiced Viszla since Season 1. Sure, Paz Viszla has also since Season 1 been portrayed physically by actor and stunt performer Tate Fletcher, who also played a guy who got his ass kicked by Mando in a bar in the first episode, but there is, believe it or not, action figure precedent for assuming Viszla looks like Jon Favreau underneath his helmet. A special edition of the figure in the Black series by Hasbro was made to look like Favreau as a nod to him voicing the character and creating the live-action series. So if the story ends up taking us to a place where more Mandalorians accept the notion of taking off their helmet, like Din Djarin and Bo-Katan Kryze have, then maybe Favreau won't be able to resist putting on the armor and taking off that helmet for at least one iconic shot. How could you not? Jon Favreau did say in the promotional video showcasing the global phenomenon the show turned out to be that the story is, quote, about becoming part of something larger than yourself. Maybe the Mandos teaming up with Din will see the light. Take off that helmet. Actually, you know what? We're not sure if these Mandalorian kids are foundlings or if Paz Viszla might have been getting busy to further the House Viszla line of succession to have a worthy heir to reclaim the Darksaber, which is his family's ancestral sword. I want an ancestral sword. That's cool. In another new shot, we see the squad of Mandos descending on Navarro and one of them attacking a Weequay with what looks like the butt of a rifle. A lot of members of the Weequay species are known to be pirates and mercenaries, like the famous Hondo Anaka, who helped helps you take control of the Millennium Falcon at Disneyland. Why this particular Weequay is being attacked non-lethally, as opposed to just being smoked by a Mandalorian blaster shot, isn't clear, but our guess is that Greef Karga ends up needing help defending Navarro from dangerous and opportunistic criminals trying to wrestle control back from Karga. Maybe this or other mercenaries need to be captured for questioning to get to the bottom of the entire operation. Or maybe just to face justice. This is a new era for Navarro after all. Last new shot we see is one of who appears to be Dr. Pershing creeping down a spooky hallway, and I'm not gonna lie, looking pretty fly while doing it. You go, Amit Abtahi. Looking good, Amit Abtahi. Now, this may be the good doctor returning to the scene of the crime, the abandoned genetics lab on Navarro, trying to find some remnant of his work. Probably the early plans for the somehow return of Palpatine, or even before that, the creation of Supreme Leader Snoke. We Star Wars sequel fans are stoked that this era of the saga is being expanded upon, and with the help of Dave Filoni, no less. The man some would say was responsible for beautifully fleshing out the lore and mythology of the Star Wars prequel era, in a way those films never really had the running time to do. Imagine getting to revisit the sequels after more and more quality storytelling like Star Wars The Clone Wars or The Mandalorian gets to expand some of its concepts and ideas. Very exciting. Next, let's take a look at the recap promo that was out on February 15th. Okay, so in the first super fast part, we get a new shot of Greef Karga giving us some grief because he looks absolutely pissed that someone interrupted his meeting with Mando. Could it be an Anzellan updating him on some tech issue? Probably not. That was an eye-level stare down, and Anzellans are short kings. We also get Bo-Katan shooting some blasty blasts, and this was a surprise. The Armorer gets into the action, slamming down on a Quarren with her patented gravity hammer, which I believe is also a weapon in Fortnite. This really helps to sell the idea that Mando Season 3 is going all out. Everyone's getting in on the action, and all armored hands are on deck. Maybe this is after Djarin is able to be redeemed in the living waters beneath the mines of Mandalore, and even the Armorer accepts him back into their covert. Speaking of, towards the end of the recap promo, we see this absolutely awesome shot of presumably Mando and Grogu arriving on Mandalore. I love how we see the N1 Naboo starfighter slicing through the mist of the clouds over the ruins of Sundari. The mix of practical aerial footage with an artist rendering of a cityscape inspired by Ralph Bakori's lived-in style for the original trilogy has always been what The Mandalorian has been best at. Then we get a badass Bo-Katan sitting on her throne, looking very much like M'Baku from Black Panther. Now, before we head into the mines of Mandalore, those cool green lit caves, we gotta point out this detail, the pattern on the palace spires while Mando makes his way down to Bo-Katan. This symbol may be the symbol for the House Kryze, the political faction that Bo-Katan and her sister, Duchess Satine Kryze, belonged to. Now that Bo is in charge, well, maybe they've redecorated. And speaking of Satine, just a reminder, she was Obi-Wan Kenobi's main love interest in the Star Wars saga as shown in the Clone Wars animated series. Could we see a live-action flashback to that time period? Well, Disney did just get Ewan McGregor back on the payroll is all I'm saying. And finally, we got some cool quick shots of an asteroid fight, maybe one that Boba Fett can assist in. A shot proving the need for seatbelts in Mando's N1 starfighter, and another shot of all the Mandos again with Paz Viszla front and center, just absolutely rip-roaring, ready to go and kill some guys. It's gonna be rad. And we can't forget the entire scene that was released on February 16th, featuring Mando chatting with Greef Karga while young/old Grogu does what every kid has ever done when taken to their dad's office: spin around in a chair. Now, we did get some new insight into what Din Djarin is up to in the story for this new season, and it involves Karga inviting him to stay and live on Navarro. Mando explains that he's an apostate, a Mandalorian who broke the creed, but Karga rebuttals by saying, where you're from, you may be an apostate, but here, you'd be landed gentry. A gentry is, well, we don't actually know what it is yet, but we're assuming it's positive. Maybe it comes with social status and respect. The takeaway here is that Karga wants Mando to stick around for two reasons. One, he's a friend, and two, Mandalorian is strong and loyal. It does not hurt to have someone like the deadly Din Djarin, or even baby Grogu, who can do the magic hand thingy in your corner if things on Navarro go south. And Greef Karga knows how important it is to have someone you can rely on in your corner. That was a boxing joke. One thing we can also point out here is the bust in the background, possibly of Karga himself. It really must help to take on the responsibilities of the High Magistrate to the citizens of Navarro. Maybe some grateful group made it to show their respect. Behind the scenes, names, this could also be a reference to Rocky Balboa getting a statue in the Rocky series and Apollo Creed not getting one. If IG-11 gets one, why not at least a bust for Greef Karga? And finally, he hasn't been confirmed for The Mandalorian Season 3, but fans are hoping to see former Jedi Quinlan Vos, Eric's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, make an appearance. He was name-dropped on Obi-Wan Kenobi and had his last full appearance in the canon novel Dark Disciple, which was awesome, so you should definitely read that. Did I say the same number of greats as Tommy? That's another new Rockstars Easter egg for you to find out. Tell us in the comments. Before we wrap up, here's another reminder to support New Rockstars by checking out the new Mando collection at nerdriot.shop. Follow me at Hector Is Funny on social media, follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars for breakdowns and insight on everything that you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.